Hey everyone, welcome to another everyday mobility session. Today we're going to go through a little bit of a pre-game mobility warm-up routine that I like to do either the night before a game to get me feeling good or earlier in the day before my play a rugby game. All you need for today is a foam roller and lacrosse ball for a little soft tissue work before we get into our mobility work. We're going to start from the ground up, so just drop that lacrosse ball on the ground. We're going to spend about 30 seconds rolling out the bottom of our feet. So I like this to dig into all the knots, so that way our feet are feeling good. You'll kind of feel your feet are going to kind of melt into the ground after you do this. So I like to start on that inside edge, rolling from the ball of the foot to the heel, and then move my way to the middle of the foot, and then the outer edge of the foot. Kind of scan through everything, and then we can find that kind of more tender knot to then put a little pressure into. So now I'll just hold on that spot. An alternative, if you don't have a lacrosse ball, a golf ball is also great. It's a little bit smaller, so it gets a little more intense. Let's switch it over to the other foot. Starting on that inside edge, rolling up and down, and working our way to the outer edge, and we can scan back and forth. Trying to put as much pressure as you can, so that way it feels a little uncomfortable and we're really digging in. Shouldn't be super painful, just uncomfortable. We can always adjust the pressure that you need to use. Great, so now after that, we're gonna go up against the wall, take that lacrosse ball, toss it right in between our shoulder blades. So on one side, right inside the scapula, next to the spine. We'll bring that same side arm, so it's on my left side. I'm gonna bring that left arm across my body and go up and down there, all the way to the trap, and then down to the middle of the back, right along that shoulder blade, staying on the muscle, not on the bone. Loosen up our upper back here. Just keep going up and down. And then if you want, you can go side to side on the trap up top here to really dig in up there. A couple more seconds here and then we'll switch sides. Now we can just roll that ball over the other side. Now I'm going to bring my right arm across my body and go up and down along that shoulder blade. So I'm a righty. I find that my right side definitely has some more knots because I'm using that arm a lot more. Work up into the trap. Side to side up there. Give it a moment there. Hit those knots. And then we can work back down along that shoulder blade. All right, so now we got our back side. We'll go to the front side now up against the wall. So we're gonna bring our arm up so our elbows in line with our shoulder, elbow bend at 90 degrees. We're gonna take that lacrosse ball, go right into where the shoulder meets the chest, roll right there, and then we can roll right below the collarbone at the top of our chest. This one is definitely gonna be a little tender, and I like to look away from it. So again, that shoulder joint at first. You can always move your arm up and down to give a little different angles. Digging into those sore spots. And then moving into the chest, right below that collarbone. A couple more seconds here and then we'll switch sides. Definitely tender. Good. Let's bring that lacrosse ball to the other side. Starting at that shoulder joint. Try and dig into the muscle there. We can leak it out into the arm. And then back into the chest. And then find whatever angle with your arm feels best for you. It might be straight out to the side, might be that 90-degree angle in the elbow. Might want to drop it down. It's not an exact science, we're playing to what feels best with your body. And then let's move into that chest a little more, side to side under the collarbone. Find the meat there. All right, we're all set there, guys. Next up, we'll go from the floor. All right, so since in our game we're gonna be running a lot, we gotta make sure we take care of our calves so those don't cramp up. So we're gonna go one leg at a time. I got my right foot up on here. I'm gonna cross my left leg over, bridge my foot up the ground, and just go up and down all the way from the heel to the back of the knee. I can twist that right foot out or in so I can get different strands of the calf. And I'm gonna find that knot. So I just found it right here. I'm gonna take that other leg, cross it over, and then now make circles with my toes. Let's go 3 each way. And that's gonna just kind of move that muscle around while we're pressuring it down into that foam roller so we really dig in. Let's switch up legs. So now I got my left leg on here. Gonna just roll straight up and down at first. Scanning, pointing my toes out, pointing in, changing up. Find that knot that you really need to hit. Put the other leg on to make a little pressure. And let's get 3 ankle circles. And going the other way. Awesome. Kick that out to the side, working our way up. So now we're gonna hit the glutes up next. So we're gonna take this lacrosse ball, put it under our butt cheek. So it's under my right side. So I'm gonna keep my right leg straight and bend my left knee so I can lean into it and scan all around that glute. I find there's a lot of tension by your back pocket, so we kind of hit that. And the other one is, another good spot is right by our hip bone in your waistband. Going side to side there with the ball halfway on the bone and halfway on the meat. That's where a lot of tension is and creates some pulling on the lower back if you want to dig in there. We're going to hit this for about another 15 seconds. You can also feel free to find that big knot and just settle on it. Switch it up and over to the other side. So we're going to roll all over to start. Kind of scanning the whole glute. And then you can start focusing on those spots that have a little bit more tension. Maybe in the back pocket where a piriformis is. Or higher up by that waistband, going side to side by the hip bone. It's not going to feel the greatest, but those tender spots are those knots that we need to dig out. So that way our muscle contracts a little bit smoother and it gives us a little bit more range of motion. About another 10 seconds here. All right. So now we'll get into a little bit more mobility. So starting with our ankles, we're gonna go with some ankle rockers. So take a knee with one leg up. And what I like to do is I like to do 15 ankle rockers. So meaning I'm gonna drive my knee over my toes until that heel wants to come off the ground and then rock back just a little bit. Let's get 5 driving over our big toe. 1, 2, we should feel a nice stretch by that Achilles, that lower calf. After that, we'll get 5 kind of right over the middle of the foot. And then 5 trying to push over that pinky toe. 5. Awesome. Then we can switch sides. So we got 15 total reps. 5 over that big toe. 5 over the middle. And 5 over that pinky toe. See how it doesn't have to be a huge rock. We're getting to that end range and just coming out of it just a little bit. And then last 5. Awesome. Next up, we're gonna sit in a 90-90 position here. So I'm gonna have my knees bent at 90 degrees, and my back knee is gonna be in line with my hip. From there, I'm gonna put my hands over my front leg, try to have a nice proud chest, so I have a flat back like as if I'm doing an RDL. Let's hold this stretch right here for a moment. We're gonna try to make that stretch amplify a bit more. We should feel it underneath that front leg, kind of that hamstring to butt area. To make it a little more intense, I'm gonna think about pulling my tailbone up into the air. Boom, so my butt flares out a little bit. Now, while we're holding this stretch here, we're gonna work on our back leg. So what I wanna do is I wanna keep my back heel into the ground, and we're gonna rotate our knee up as high as we can. We're gonna get 3 reps, holding for 5 seconds. Ready? Don't let your chest twist. Pull that knee up as high as you can, and squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We may cramp up a little bit here. We just gotta do our best to work through it. Ready, up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Chest doesn't move, just that hip. Ready, up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we'll reverse it. Knee's gonna stay in the ground, foot's gonna come up in the air. It's okay if that foot doesn't come up very much. It's more so as long as we feel the squeeze in the hip. So ready, knee down, foot up. Ready, and pull. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Once again, we're keeping the rest of our body still. Ready, up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more. Ready, up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Give you a second to breathe, relax. Try to push that back butt cheek out and pick that tailbone up to find that a little more intense of a stretch. And now we're gonna do a pale contraction where we push our foot, ankle, and knee all into the ground. So let's start that. Abs are tight, taking a big breath in. Pressing down into the ground, 10% effort. 20, 30, we can grab the ground a little bit to create a little tension in the arms. 40, and 50%. That spot where you felt the stretch should now start to burn a little bit. Holding this for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Try to puff the chest out and tighten up the back to get a little bit deeper stretch. Awesome. Come on out of this nice and slowly, and we can just transfer up and over to the other side. Boom. So I still got my nice 90-degree angles here, leaning my hands in front of that front shin and finding that stretch. For some people, it might be easy to find a stretch, have that chest directly over our knee. Some people might have to scan a little bit more, so I might turn my chest towards my foot a little bit, or turn my chest away from that foot to find the best stretch underneath here. So we're gonna do our back hip again. So keeping that foot in the ground and pulling that knee up into the air. Chest doesn't move, abs are tight. Ready, and up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reversing it now. Knee stays on the ground, foot's coming up in the air. Remember, not about the height, it's about the squeeze. Ready, and pull. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more. Up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing here, just relaxing the stretch for a couple seconds before we start that build up of the front leg. Find that stretch. Think about your pushing your butt cheek back, tipping that tailbone up into the air. All right, let's grab the ground, starting that Pales contraction, so that front knee, shin, and foot are pressing down to the ground. 10% effort. 20, creating tension through our hands. Abs are tight, big breath in. Keep that squeeze. 30, 40, 50% here. Hold that squeeze. Burning underneath. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay in the stretch. Just relax that leg. See if we can tighten up the back. Puff the chest out a little more. Tip that tailbone up. Make that stretch more intense. We got another about 20 seconds here to finish up our stretch. All right, so now we finished up our stretch there. We're gonna stay in 90-90, but we're gonna lean back and put our hands on the ground. So now we're gonna do some transfers, focusing on keeping our knees as far apart as we can. So that leg that was just in the ground, kind of squeeze it down. Do this with me. We're gonna keep the heels in the same spot and bring this knee up as high as we can. Don't let that front knee creep off the ground yet. We're gonna bring this as far as we can. And once we can't get any more, we're gonna let that other knee follow just a little bit. We're gonna go over and back 3 times. Using the hands for support, so that way we can get the biggest separation between our knees. So pressing that other leg down to the ground, bring that back knee up. Nice and slow. Over and back is 1 rep. So we've got 2 more here. Going at your own pace. Working our best to stay as tall as we can. And now as we get to that last rep, let's do our best to have our hands off the ground on that last rep. See if we can keep that nice slow speed and stay tall. Awesome. Now we're gonna work on our lower back a little bit. All right, so next up, we're gonna work our back. So we're gonna get some cat-cows here, spending about a minute. So getting us going, we're gonna arch our back and then slowly tuck our butt and round our back up to the ceiling. Once we get all the way to the top, then we flare the butt out, trying to arch our lower back first, moving our way up into the mid and upper back. If you can't segment it out and it kind of feels like it's all moving together, that's all right. Just take your time and do your best to go under control. About another 30 seconds here. Finish that last rep back in that extended arch position. And let's take that foam roller we had before. We're gonna lie on our back. And then we are gonna bridge our butt off the ground and put this right above our tailbone. So it's right above right on our lower back. I'm gonna pull my knees to the chest. Think about squeeze my abs, trying to press my belly button through the ground. And then we're gonna let our feet drop. Keeping the abs tight. And once we feel kind of our back start to round, right around that foam roller, that's when we pull the knees back up. So keep those abs tight. And you can squeeze a little bit more movement. We don't want to let the spots above that foam roller move though. So it's really small movement here. We can get reps here. And then if you'd like, you can move that foam roller up and up and up and work your way up the back so you then get different vertebrae. Next up, we're gonna get one of my favorite stretches, call it the pretzel stretch. So lying on our back, I'm gonna take my right knee, bend it, bring it up, and bring it across my body. Then I'm gonna take my hand, keep it on the knee, and then my opposite hand is gonna grab that bottom foot here. And then we're gonna pull that foot to our butt, pull the knee back, and without this other knee popping off the ground, we're gonna try to sink our shoulders down. So a great stretch here for our bottom quad and our back with the rotation. Great for any rotational sport athlete, rugby passing, lacrosse, baseball, tennis, because our back needs to be all rotating. We don't want to be jammed up. And then as you exhale, you're thinking about relaxing, trying to get that shoulder down a little bit more. Let's flip it up and over. So I'm taking my left knee up now, and I'm gonna put my right hand on that left knee to keep it glued to the turf. Then my left hand is gonna grab that right bottom foot. Pull the foot to the butt, try to pull that knee back a little bit, and then sink the shoulders down. Find your breathing nice and relaxed. And then we can start to let go of that foot. Coming back to neutral. All right, our last thing for today is get our shoulders warm. This is called a swimmer's hover. Quick rep, just watch me. We're gonna lie on the ground, head can be flat. If you wanna grab a pillow or something to put your forehead on, you're more than welcome to. We're gonna start our hands on our head, pinch our elbows up, and then make an I, Y, T, turn our palms up, and then bring our hands down, bend those elbows up our back. Then we're gonna reverse it, coming back up. Boom. Let's get 3 reps here. Our goal is to be nice and slow. So about 5 to 10 seconds to get down from your head to your back, and then back up, same amount of time. Keeping those hands as high off the ground as you can. Talk through our first rep, and then the second 2 will be at your own speed. Hands on the head. Pinch the elbows up, squeezing our upper back. Shoot the arms straight ahead in that I position. Move into the Y. T. Twist the palms up. Bring them down to the back. Bend those elbows and bring those hands as high up the back as you can. Re-squeeze those elbows up. Get to that T position. Turn the palms down. Up to the Y. I. And bend the elbows. Bring the hands to the head. That's 1 rep. If you want to relax, reset, and then go. Last 2 reps are on you. This isn't an easy one. We're working as best we can to keep those hands as high off the ground as we can. All right, athletes. I hope you feel good. Feel nice and warmed up for your game coming up or practice. Thanks for joining in again on another everyday mobility session.